What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tino here, and we're here today for a Southside Boys episode as we still are in the middle of baseball season. White Sox suck, but that's okay because we have ourselves an all-star in Garrett Crochet. We have some pitchers that are doing good. We've got an experience to talk about and some other things. So we're going to talk about it all, and then we'll talk a little White Sox baseball. So let's not waste any time. Let's get the guys in here. And guys, we're finally back live. First time back live since the break. We've had a bunch of pre-recorded episodes. We had Elijah on last week, but that was also recorded and out a day early because of the 4th of July. But we're back at our regularly scheduled time. So let's get Deech, let's get Justin, and let's see how they're doing today. So first, of course, my right-hand man. What's up, Deech? How you doing?
Yo, what's up, Tino? I'm interested for the draft, to say the least. It's going to speak volumes as to what else is to come, so we will see where that goes.
So much fun, man. So you gotta love it. But you have a fun experience to talk about, and there's been a few good things that have happened in the last week and stuff. So, but this man's making his return. He hasn't been here in a few weeks, guys. So let's welcome Justin back and let's see how he's doing and everything else. So Justin, what's up, bro? Everybody missed you so much, and now you're back. So how you doing? Everybody. Tell us about what's been going on. Anything exciting? Anything new?
It's been a few weeks since a couple weeks ago I missed for the I was seeing the Rolling Stones. That was epic.
Didn't you see them twice?
I did see them twice, both Chicago shows,
Man,
Thursday and Sunday.
Guy you are
absolutely lit. Went with my dad and a few. Well, we had a big group for Thursday, and my dad and I went Sunday. Last week was the 4th. Week before that, I think it was a work thing. I'm just happy to be back, though. Happy to be back talking about these bums with you guys and all that comes with it.
Exactly. You know, it's like the 1 hour a week we hang out and be able to talk to each other. So,
yeah.
You know, but you know, I will say about this team the last
week. Did Tino freeze?
Did I?
No.
I might have.
Oh.
Did I? I'm trying to mess with my camera. I'm still trying to figure out this camera thing situation with I'm like blurry right here on this elbow. You see like the whole like static. So, but the past week has been very interesting. We've had, you know, games obviously played and some bad things happened and some good things happened. Marlin series was the Marlin series. Of course, on Sunday, I called it. As soon as it happened, as soon as he got up to the plate, I was like, this man's going to hit a home run and walk it off like he did versus Detroit. And that's exactly what happened. Mr. Jake Berger decided to give his old teammates a good old-fashioned walk-off. As the Marlins had the most walk-offs, I did not know that. But they are still really bad. So, you know, but then we went and faced the Twins. We had a rain out. They played, and they won 1 of 3. They had played a doubleheader yesterday. Luis Robert won that game. But Drew Thorpe, Jonathan Cannon, these rookie pitchers, guys, have been looking really good, and they've been going 6+ innings. And it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like, do you want to take them out or do you not want to take them out?
Well, start with what happened in Milwaukee today. Fucking Paul Skeens gets pulled after 7 no-hit innings. I was irate.
So I didn't even see it. So the only thing I saw about Paul, and I was actually going to mention that because we play the Pirates next. Kind of happy we don't have to face him. So can you tell me what happened? Because I didn't see what happened. So he had a no-hitter or a perfect game?
No, it was a no-hitter through 7. He came out for the 7th with like a little over 90 pitches. He had a 6-pitch 7th inning. Very quick.
6 pitches.
And then they pulled him at like he was probably right around a hundo. I think that's just a fucking terrible with the All-Star game coming up. He was pissed, obviously, but it was funny because it was in the top of the 7th before he came out for his last inning. They were still 0-0, and Yaz shot a gap to give them a 1-0 lead. His slow ass even got a double out of it, and then they pulled Skeens after 7, and the guy they ended up winning 1-0. But the guy came in and immediately gave up 2 hits. Then he walked a guy. It got sticky there for a minute, but I had that on when I was working earlier.
Well, that's kind of seems like what it's been with a lot of these guys. It's like they're taking them out early, but it's like I feel like you yes, you want to save their arm, yes, you don't want them to overwork them, but like having that, you don't know when that opportunity is going to come. I mean, look at Giolito. Giolito had that game against the Pirates, and now he's out. Like you don't know when you're going to have that opportunity. Just like the Jonathan Cannon situation. Like I get he kind of whatever, but I would have let him finish it because I mean, what
I
What
think,
the heck do you have to lose? So,
and I know they're pushing for him to start the All-Star game, but at max, he's throwing 1 inning next week.
literally, one. Maybe
if
two,
there was
maybe.
a time to let him go, I mean, he's young. If you look at
How
someone
old is
tweeted
he
his
exactly?
what?
How old is he?
Oh God, it'd be
22?
21, 22. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone tweeted his pitch counts from the College World Series last year, and he went like 140 in one of the outings. Like, I just hate how much we protect these guys, and I blame analytics, obviously, and all that.
All about those analytics with these people, man.
The computer decided he can't throw 100 pitches anymore. No one can. I mean,
Mark Burley or all those pitchers would have been like, just give it to me. I mean, and that's kind of crazy. Like they were talking about the Alduque play yesterday on the post-game show after game 1 because of what Fetty did, where he got out of the bases loaded, nobody out, like Alduque did. And I just thinking back to it, you'll never see pitchers do what they did in the 2005 playoffs or like in general. I don't think you ever see.
I mean, I can tell you off the top of my head, the last complete game in the postseason was Justin Verlander in the ALCS in 2017. That's like how rare it is, and like that. I just, unless somebody did it in the last 2 years, and I'm just completely blanking.
I don't think so.
Seriously doubt it.
That's
probably the last we'll ever see, because that's just not how teams operate anymore. And obviously, Verlander's a guy from a different era.
It's just so crazy that like how it like goes from this to that and everything else like that. So overall, what do you think about the Sox pitchers? I know you haven't really watched too many games and everything, but have you caught like what Thorpe and what Cannon? You know,
I mean, it's promising. And Deech, I know this is gonna. I'll just segue right into what I know that you'll agree with me on, is like, this is why they shouldn't be shopping Fetty and Crochet, because they have legitimate rotation pieces where if they actually made an effort to sign a couple starting pitchers this offseason and revamp the lineup and bullpen with all the money they have cut, like they could have a legit rotation next year at the very least, even if they don't fix that other shit. I think it speaks to that. I think it speaks to, why are you trying to trade these guys? This is like the one thing you got going. I mean, Fetty signed here. I don't contract. He signed the contract. Crochet. Exactly. I think it's so foolish to get rid of him. I get the value being as high as it is, but I think that just means that we need to we can have a top tier MLB rotation within the next couple of years if they just ride this out. So,
I mean, I think about that too with riding things out. Sometimes it's like, yeah, like the trades that like happened, but it's like, just like, what if they never did make some of these trades? Like some of these guys that all of a sudden, like Eduardo Escobar's coming out of nowhere, Marcus Simeon's being superstars. Like these guys, these guys the White Sox had
bad trades
went to, you know what I mean? And that's like I wonder that for a lot of teams too. So, Deech, what do you think about a lot of these guys and everything else? I know you've been to a few of the games. You've seen these guys live. So, I mean, I'm sure it's a different type of experience to see them live and everything. So, what do you think about like just what you've seen in the past? Because I mean, their ERA too, I think, has been the second best in the MLB since like June 7th or something like that. Starters ERA. Talk about the bullpen next, but starters. So, Deech, what do you think overall? And do you think Thorpe is here to stay?
Thorpe, Thorpe's thing is his strikeouts were a lot higher in the minors, but he hasn't really needed to have a significant amount of strikeouts because he's getting like ridiculously soft contact when people are putting the ball in play. I did hear from our buddy Elijah that Bannister is actually working with all of these young pitchers and is very big on cutter, sweeper, adding pitches like that to offset. Especially with the cutter, the fastball, which for Thorpe yesterday we saw worked pretty brilliantly because he has a 90, 91 mile per hour fastball. So you have to have something that has more movement on it to get hitters from just sitting on it, obviously. So that's been good. The younger pitchers are going deep.
I think that's the most exciting thing. We were talking about it yesterday, just watching these guys go deep and not having to throw like 1,000 strikeouts, and then the pitch count is in like 60 by the 4th inning because Dylan Cease had
I was going to say that's Dylan Cease.
So
it was infuriating to watch that. I would much rather have what Deech is talking about.
Yeah.
Not to be like too old school and be like, I don't care about your strikeouts, just be. I know that's how these guys are taught these days, but
And it's so bad because it shouldn't. It's like you're there to get outs. Like they always say, pitchers are there to eat innings. Well, if they're eating innings and they're throwing 7 pitches in an inning, shoot, like you said, Paul threw flipping 6 pitches today. Like that's crazy. It's crazy how these younger pitchers are getting better and better, even coming up faster and faster too. Like for a long time there, these pitchers wouldn't come up like this, and
better. They're just more. It's just high school and college level have just advanced so much in the way that they prepare these guys to be ready for the big leagues or ready to take on the amount of innings that required to pitch in the big leagues, I guess.
And I think that's like the biggest thing. And it always goes down to that too, where it's just like, like you want to do that, you should put in the work and do it and everything else like that. So we talked about Paul starting. And one of my questions, I guess the question of today's episode is, do you guys think Garrett Crochet should start the All-Star game? So Deech, I'll ask you first. Do you think he does? Do you think he should? Would you just rather have him pitch Sunday and just say screw it?
Well, he's pitching tomorrow, isn't he?
Yeah, they announced he's pitching tomorrow, and it's gonna.
Okay. I didn't know when he was pitching again next.
It's probably going to be a shorter start. I think they're going to limit his pitches probably with it probably in the All-Star game, but I don't know. He's really one of the top pitchers in the AL. I mean, you could argue, did Skubal make it, I'm assuming, the All-Star team?
I think so. I didn't see the full starters.
I don't know what his – but then you never know, though, because, like, guys, like, he's on it, but, like, if Detroit doesn't line up their rotation accordingly, he could pitch Sunday. And I don't see – that's the issue is you don't really know until – I feel like after this weekend or at least probably tomorrow who's pitching when. And even like the relievers, like if they pitch Sunday too, I don't think they can be in the All-Star game too. So it should be really interesting with that. But I was just thinking about that because he has been one of the best pitchers in the AL. And I mean, the stats that he has had a few really like not great starts. But I mean, for the most part, he's been that guy that's been very consistent. And I'm just happy that Paul did pitch today because, as I said earlier, I did not want to see that man pitch against us because he would have probably had a perfect game.
Nah, Maldi would have taken him deep. Man,
let's talk about Martin Maldonado for a minute, man. That guy might have found the magic juice because that man hitting home runs like he's flipping. He has more bases in the last 5 games than he had in the first 46 or 47 games, they said. I was just like, that's so crazy. Like, how man, I can't with him. And I can't believe that thing went. I cannot believe people have been really calling Martin Maldonado an all-star, saying that he was actually going to go somewhere. So I don't think that's really going to happen. They have way better players than that. So, but you know who's making highlight plays? And the one guy that we talked about that we should not trade is freaking Luis Robert. I don't know about you guys, but I will be very upset. And I know Deech and I have kind of talked about this, but if we trade this man, I understand that we could get a lot for him, but watching this guy play is just incredible. It's like, I don't know. So
it's just not something a big market team should ever be doing, is trading away a superstar like that. Like, that's like pirate shit. That'll be Paul Skeens in 3 years.
The issue is if you trade him, so the next 2 years, he'll have a $20 million a year salary. If you trade him, I guarantee Jerry's not going to turn around and go sign another fucking outfielder for $20 million a year. I mean, you have such a talented player, and these fans have just decided to sip whatever fucking weird Kool-Aid is being passed around by what they speculate Chris Getz is going to do. It's ridiculous. I'm so over it. I want the deadline to just be over at this point. The draft, like I mentioned earlier, the draft is going to be very important because if they take a fucking high schooler, then I would assume at the deadline they're just going to sell everyone off, and Getz will extend his little window of, I can be shipped for 2 or 3 years before I have to do anything.
So who do you want?
For what?
I mean, a college bat probably. I don't. If they
just the Coglione from Florida.
Yeah, that's probably.
I mean, he's a beast.
That's probably who winds up on the Sox. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as into it. Do
you think he falls to 5 though? I've heard he's like a number 1 or 2. So I guess we could just lead into that, I guess, and talk about the draft if you want to. So the Sox do have the 5th pick in the draft. So who do you think? And you think they're going to take the guy from Florida, or do you think he falls? Is there somebody else? Because I'll be honest, I don't really watch too much of like the college baseball, so I don't really know too many of these guys and who these guys are. I more or less just like wait. So, I mean, you'd probably know more than I do. So, I mean, do you think he's the best player available based on what will be there? Or I don't know.
I know that he hits tanks.
I mean, and the one thing that I will say is the fact that the White Sox have one of the easiest ballparks to hit home runs at, and they are continuously getting out homered by every other team. You need somebody like that can go out there and make the home run differential a little bit better.
Yeah. It's very hard to tell because you have, I think, the Rockies, A's, and Cleveland above us, who generally don't necessarily pay up to slot for players. So there could be one of the four who you would deem as better than him that do fall to us. But I mean, it seems like that's where they're headed. And then you can that makes Andrew Vaughn expendable. Honestly, he's had a good month.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Elijah pointed out when we were talking about the draft last week a bit, a lot of these guys, the college bats, I mean, you could see debut at some point, possibly next year in the second half. So, I mean, taking a high schooler is not, I mean, that's 3 years that you're probably sitting there waiting for a guy to come up. So.
Well, and that's the thing. What are we going to do? Just continue to wait until we're 40 and then maybe they'll be good? Or is just going to be a repeating cycle of bringing guys? And it's just like we've talked about, like with Robert and all of it, it's just like, why are we going to do that just for them to, like, I don't know. It really irritates me that it has gotten to this point where it's just like, why is it even like this? Because it shouldn't be. Like, I don't know. Like, they just need to make a decision and figure out what the hell they're going to do, because this going in circles just ain't working. And I mean, they want people to show up to these games. And I mean, the fact that there's just nobody there, and it just, nobody wants to watch a team 41 games under 500. And it just gets worse and worse every day, I swear to God.
See, but that's the thing. If you keep Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet, there's at least one game that some people will turn into each time Crochet starts. If you unload everyone, it's just, I don't know. I've kind of lost the whole. I think they're going to trade Fedde. I think that's inevitable at this point, so I'm just giving up hope on that. But I just want to highlight, regardless of all Garrett Crochet's stats, I love his attitude because he takes everything as a challenge and is like, fuck you, watch me do it. None of those pitchers from this previous core, like the Giolito, I mean, Lopez has done it now, but he's on a different team and he wanted to get paid. So, I mean, that's that. But, I mean, there's just a different attitude that he has that they have not had someone with that much fight and dog in this organization in quite some time. So,
and that's just
he's a Southern boy.
What'd you say?
I said he's a Southern boy. Listen to some of these guys on the Orioles talk. It's the same thing.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's all.
I mean, I love Giolito was great. I mean, he's from California.
I mean, fucking Giolito.
I'm not going to say it because I don't have to. They just aren't built the same.
They are not. They are not. So you mentioned Vaughn. Vaughn is figuring it out, and he's doing a lot of good things right now. So I guess that question is would you sell high on him, or would you try to see what happens, especially if they are going to take that guy from Florida? So do you think that's a big telling sign, depending on what they do? Because the draft is before the deadline, right?
I mean, if they spend a top 5 pick on a first baseman, then they've written Andrew Vaughn's fate. If they don't, then they think they have something. And like Deej said, I mean, I know he's been better lately. It's just kind of like, do you ever think he's going to be above first base? You require such strong offensive output, and they're an organization that actually understands that better as well as anybody, going from Thomas to Konerko to Abreu. It's good to be above average there. I don't know if AV is ever going to be that guy, and it's a tough decision. Now, I also don't like taking a guy you kind of pigeonhole yourself with at 5 overall too. I don't know, but they need to they need to start hitting the ball, and this guy can do that, and he'll come up through the system quickly, like Deej said. So there's a lot to be said about that.
There's that.
If Vaughn continues and you draft him, I think you have to at least see what's out there at the deadline. I mean, to just sit on him would be stupid because he could fall flat on his face, and you're walking into the off season with him at lower value than he is right now. So
Exactly. And that's the big thing where it should be interesting to see because like they said, like he's been doing it. So if you are, I think that is going to be the biggest tell what the White Sox do, no matter who it is. If it's a first baseman, if it's this, if it's that, it's going to be really interesting to see because it's going to pretty much go to where we think the future for this team is going to go with wherever and whoever they may take at number 5. And I don't really know how the draft. I know baseball is kind of like a little different. They can't you can't trade up in baseball, can you?
No, there's like you can trade certain picks, but they're like
gotcha. Okay,
they're comp picks.
Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, I see. I'm trying to figure. I still have never like just I don't know why. It's just always been that one thing with the baseball like draft. I always forget it's on or something. And it just I don't know. I kind of wish they would treat it like the NFL because I think a lot more people would maybe watch it because there's a lot of times I see these drafts and I'm just like, I don't remember even seeing this on like an MLB network. So
there's a million reasons why they'll never touch the NFL and why nobody does. One of the reasons is what you said a few minutes ago when you said you don't know like who the guys are in college. There's the different. That's one of the big differences. The NFL rules the world. That's another one. But
I mean, that's true. Speaking of college, bro, we got what 5 days left till the college game comes out.
Monday at 3. If you bought the early edition, yes.
Wait. Well, huh? Bet. Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The regular ones.
Tuesday.
The regular ones next Thursday, a week from today at 11 p.m. The if you got the early release, it's Monday at 3.
Bet. Okay. I thought I had to wait till Tuesday. Okay.
No, Monday at 3.
I'm so excited. Every time somebody says college, it's all I keep thinking about. I'm just they canceled my credit card and they declined the purchase. And I got my other credit card. Oh, I was just like, come on. I'm like, this sucks. Deech, are you getting the college game?
Probably not. I mean, I'm not as invested, honestly. I mean, I'll watch some college football, and like back in the day, I definitely like played the college football games, but
dude, I bought a new Xbox literally for this game a couple weeks ago. I had still the Xbox One that I got, like 10 years ago. And I was like, all right, I got finally broke down. I had to buy the next gen system, the next gen that came out, 5 years ago now.
I'm so mad that it's only on there. You want to know what else I'm mad about is we don't even have to talk about it. I just want to mention it because I saw the stat yesterday and it irritated the fuck out of me. Is Eloy's ground ball percentage is 73%.
I couldn't believe it when you said that.
Awful.
Since back from injury, yeah. I mean, I tweeted it yesterday. Pay him to get the fuck off my team.
I saw that. He fucking funny. I give him a bag of peanuts because the man can't run. Like he hits a ground ball and like he hit a slow ground ball and the guy literally still got him by like 3 feet. I'm like, bro, can you like run any faster? Like, I know you don't want to tear anything, but like, then go on a wheelchair.
He used to run all right for his size and being as goofy as he is.
Like, and that's the thing. Is that what it is? Do you think? Because I'm trying to figure it out. Like, because I know he's a tall dude. I know he's whatever. But like, what could he even do to make it so his legs are like? I don't even know. Because like I'm short, so like I mean I'm sure you got. Is there just something like like being taller? Like is the like I don't know. Is there like?
I just think he doesn't want to hurt himself at this point. He's not running as hard as he can.
That could very well just be it. He just doesn't want to ruin his life or whatever. I mean, I know he's got wives and kids and all of that, but like come on now. Because he ain't ever gonna get that paycheck. Who most likely is gonna be a guy that will just like not. I don't know. He's gonna end up on a team where like they have him and he's okay, but he's just never gonna be that guy.
Marlins, Angels. I mean, those are the kind of teams that are gonna be his market teams that are never good.
Yep. And it's so funny because you say that about not being good and everything else like that. I was looking at the stats for Thorpe and Cease, and I know Cease is at a lot more, but Cease is like I think he's like 7-9 with like a 4.12. And Thorpe is like 3-1. So I don't know. It's kind of you like I said, you just mentioned San Diego. It's very interesting, like all the trades and everything, just about how these guys you really don't know. And I didn't even know this, and I think we might have talked about it. I didn't even realize Drew Thorpe was in the Juan Soto trade.
Yeah.
So the fact that the Yankees had him at first, I didn't know that. So that was just like, oh, okay. I was watching something before. I was just like, oh, okay. So it's really interesting just to see what What were you gonna say?
Thorpe was the holdup on the Cease trade to begin with.
Was he? Okay, so because they wanted him that bad then. Okay.
They were refusing to give up Thorpe, and Getz was pretty much like, fuck off then. So
I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, we'll obviously have to see how that works. And the Padres are just that team. They're never good. They trade for whoever, but they're just like they traded for Juan Soto, and they went to the Yankees. So it's just like these teams, and I think that's exactly so. Where a lot of these guys will be. But one guy we haven't talked about in a while is Mr. Dancing Man himself, Mr. Yohan Moncada. Apparently, could be back a few weeks after the All-Star break. So I don't know what exactly I'm expecting from him, but just don't get hurt. So. Do you guys even want to see Moncada back on this team, or do you want to would you rather him just go away too? Because it's
no.
Done
when
with
he got
Moncada.
hurt, I was pretty content with never seeing him play in a Sox uniform again. I don't watch, so it's no skin off my ass, I guess, but his body language, just everything about him, I don't know if there's ever been a player that I have such a deep disdain for. There are definitely guys I hated more, like just on a surface level, but he to me is just the embodiment and representation of everything that's went wrong with everything, with the culture of the team, the living up to expectations of the team, the guys taking accountability, the guys staying on the field, all of it. He represents everything that went wrong with it, and rightfully so, because he was the headliner of the trade that kicked off the entire deal. I despise him. I think he's a lazy piece of shit with a dog shit attitude, and he doesn't care about baseball. And I don't think all that. I know all of that.
Will you tell him that?
We'll see. Maybe I'll have to travel to whatever team wastes $5 million on him next year to be their utility infielder.
Watch him go to the Marlins. Watch him have an infield of Jake Berger, Yohan Moncada, and Tim Anderson.
Well, they DFA'd TA, didn't they?
Oh, that's right. They did. I forgot that they DFA'd him. I thought he was hurt. That's right. They did. Never mind. I forgot about that. That's right. That slipped my mind for a second. That's right. That would have been so funny to watch, though. But I just wanted to mention Moncada because they mentioned him yesterday on the game, and I was honestly, I kind of forgot he was on the team too. I'm like, wait, oh yeah, that's right, Moncada. So we'll have to see what happens. Lennon Sosa's been doing good. Deech is the gosh darn picks the click wizard, picking Robert, Sosa, Vaughn.
He hit on Maldi. That was
Maldi. Freaking, he's hitting on everybody. So Lennon Sosa's figured it out, which is good. Which is, it's nice to see him finally get something to what he finally was doing in AAA a little bit. So we'll have to see. Obviously, I think Lennon Sosa will be here for the rest of the year. Probably play second base. I think also Tommy Pham. I don't know. I think he's kind of fallen off to where I don't think too many teams might they'll probably go after him, but we probably would not again. We're probably not going to get what we wanted, what we probably could have get like a couple weeks ago. So before we talk, because I want to talk about the All-Star game, who do you think is not even maybe for the Sox, but who do you think is like the first domino to fall for the trade deadline to begin and finally one guy goes, and then all of a sudden it's so Deech, I'll ask you, who do you think is traded, Sox, anybody, to start off the deadline frenzy?
I could see an Eric Fedde, or some team is going to bite at a pitcher that's not demanding a ridiculous amount of prospect capital, but it's definitely going to get you a substantial return. I honestly think the Orioles are going to buck up for Fedde. I don't think they're going to sit and give enough to get Crochet. So I could see that happening. Over half of their rotation is out for the season, I believe now, and they're running out with rookies or just random guys they can pretty much throw out there. So I could see Eric Fedde going, or maybe one of the other starters that's not elite, but although Fedde is pretty much elite, they were showing if Garrett Crochet wasn't on this team, Eric Fedde would have been the All-Star from the White Sox. So,
oh yeah, the way, especially what he did yesterday, that was just crazy. Especially versus the Twins, how good they are, and Carlos Santana and everything. I was just waiting for. I'm like, this game's over in the first inning, and it just was I
think his ERA is under 3 now.
Huh? Yeah.
ERA is under 3 now.
I think it's a 260 or 287 or something like that. I think they said since a certain date, or So and that's the thing. The pitching the starters have been doing phenomenal. The bullpen is a whole nother story though, and I don't even want to talk too long about the bullpen because they irritate me so much. But these guys just suck. The White Sox play complete games from 1 to 7, and then just completely shit the bed. They should have swept the Marlins. They should have, but they didn't. They should have beat. I think they should have won both games yesterday at one point. They should have, but so the bullpen is what it is. Kopech did pitch an immaculate inning. I didn't even know that was I knew that was a thing, but I didn't know that was a thing, and I didn't know the last one that happened was almost 100 years ago. So Kopech's another one we saw that he's had great starts like he did yesterday, but then he has games like he did versus the Marlins where he's giving up grand slams and he's walking down with his head off. So let's hope Kopech keeps pitching the way he does, and let's hope they trade him away too, because at this point, just get rid of them all. I was thinking about yesterday. I'm like, just get rid of all these guys that we had on the team since whatever, and let's just restart this thing, whatever the hell they're going to do. Well, not restart it, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah.
Speaking of Kopech, he hired Scott Boras as his agent randomly.
Yeah, well, so I was going to ask you, so that can happen just in the middle of the season? Is that just like hiring like a new putting you could do that with any sport? I thought that was like a whole different like thing that like took a minute.
No, I think he can do it whenever. I mean, I don't know who he was represented by before.
Obviously a nobody, because we didn't know who the hell he was. But got to get that Scott Boras money, I guess, right? So before we talk about the All-Star game, Deech, you had a great experience. You met a Hall of Famer, and some good things happened at the ballpark. Not better at the ballpark, but good at the ballpark. You met the legend himself, Mr. Frank Thomas. So you want to tell us a little bit about that and what happened and all that good stuff?
So it was a season ticket holder perk for renewing last year. I got a game and a suite, so it was like all you could eat, all you could drink. And then Frank Thomas stopped by for about an hour and signed autographs for everyone. And I actually came across a Frank Thomas rookie card. And
that's a rookie card? I didn't even notice that was a rookie card when you sent it to me.
Yeah. So? Stats on the back are his college stats on the card even. I mean, it's like way throwback.
That's so cool.
And then under his name, he signed Hall of Fame 2014, which I thought was cool. I mean,
love to see it.
But yeah, got a picture with him. It was cool. He clearly was doing Jer Bear's dirty work, trying to grease the hands of the season ticket holders so they don't quit after the season. So, that's really what it was. I mean,
I couldn't, man. I mean, that's such a cool thing to be able to do, but I could just not imagine what Jerry was telling Frank. He's like, can you be nice to these people? Can you? And Frank Thomas, I met him a few times, like at Sox Fest, and my dad actually met him at the bar one time. He was sitting at the bar having a drink. My dad sits down and hangs out with him or whatever. He's always seemed like a really nice guy, and he always makes an effort to seem to like put like an extra extra thing on it, where sometimes I know he'll like sign like to Deech or to whoever he's signing to. So I'm sure that was a really cool experience or anything. Did you guys like, was it just kind of like an autograph session then where you got the autograph, you took a picture, and then you left, or did he talk for a couple of minutes?
I mean, I talked to him for like a minute or two, but
okay.
The suite was full of all the season ticket holders who
I can't imagine the people
or whatever. But I mean, even expanding on that, pretty much everyone in that suite was like, fuck them if they trade Robert and Crochet. So
love it.
That's just what it is. I don't know.
At least we're all on the same page.
Well, it's the people on Twitter who don't have fucking tickets that are like, no, trade them for fucking prospects. We need more prospects. It's like, fuck that.
No.
You're not. I mean, there's people who, like day in and day out are just like prospect humping up the ass. And how many games have they fucking been to where it's like, dude, I fucking don't care about your opinion because you don't fucking go sit at the ballpark and watch this shit. You don't. You sit and fucking jerk off to Birmingham Barons videos or whatever. I mean,
if I have to say, like, listen, I'm so happy the Birmingham Barons are doing great, but like, if I have to see the Birmingham Barons make me hard video or some like weird GIF, I'm gonna be like, can you go away from me? Like, we should not be watching Barons games, but the Barons are fun to watch. Let's just hope they all make it to the MLB. So.
I just don't know that, like, I have nothing against the prospects we have or, like, those teams in and of itself. It's just the concept of, like, let's trade for more and tear it down to the point of who the hell is on the Major League roster next year. It just signifies, like, Chris Getz doing exactly what Rick Hahn did when he took over and would turn to the ball. I'm going to fully rebuild it down.
Taking it down the road.
Yeah, it's just stupid at this point.
It's like that they just try to get it, and it just, I don't know. So, at least we'll get a little break next week. And just so everybody does know, we will not be here next week because it is All-Star Weekend. So there really isn't too much to talk about. They do have a series next week. Come back on Friday. We're just going to take the week off, and we'll be back the following week to talk about it. So it is the All-Star break. They play the Pirates this week. Who cares what happens? We'll probably get swept, but I don't care. But I want to talk about the All-Star game a little bit because I personally, I love the All-Star game, and I personally like the home run derby. I don't know what it is. It always gets me a little excited, and it kind of just, obviously the White Sox haven't had too many players in it, well, they've had a few in the home run derby as of late, but I don't know. So do you guys have any favorite All-Star game memories, any home run derby memories as a kid growing up? Somebody that maybe was like with the hat backwards with Ken Griffey or anything like that? Justin, I'll ask you first. You got any, or are you just really not into the All-Star festivity?
No, I do. I like the All-Star game. I like the home run derby. I think it's the best All-Star festivity weekend, whatever you want to call it, of any of the major sports. When you sent the text and were favorite All-Star game memory, for whatever reason, the first thing that came to mind was Ichiro's inside the park homer. I think in San Francisco. I mean, this is years ago.
He's make us all feel. We're all gonna make everybody feel old real quick, man.
Going into the vault.
It's so sad. One. People probably don't know who Ichiro is.
Yeah, at least they're not familiar with how fucking epic he was. And then I think it was
he was my favorite player on another team that I don't care what he did, he was just so fun to watch. I didn't care.
It was either the year after that or 2 years after that, I think, at Yankee Stadium. I can't remember if it was the old one or the new one. There was one that went 14 innings. Those are the two that came to mind. I went to the Futures game when it was at Sox Park in 03.
Okay. Troll.
So those are kind of the general. Yeah,
I like it though. I mean, and that's the thing. It's kind of crazy, like you said, that the fact that you still remember stuff like that from 2003 is memories like that are just something that and it kind of sucks that they really obviously All-Star game is in different states or everything like that. I really wish they would come back to Chicago or whatever. I'd really like to go to one because as you said, it's one of the best All-Star weekends where the NFL has kind of tried with their things the last few years, but just the MLB and the home run derby, and then even just my favorite part of the All-Star game was always when they lined the players up and they would announce them by team, and you would see the guys go like this, and then
all the different hats. And
the jerseys. 1 year where the White Sox had 9 players, it was Burley, it was Jenks, it was Thomas, it was Tommy, Konerko. It was just I don't know. I always enjoyed that.
The year
part.
in Pittsburgh, 06.
Yeah, always.
Ozzy just brought all of them.
Huh? He said he wanted to show it. I mean, that team was so fantastic. So, Deech, you got any favorite memories or anything that you like from the All-Star game, or are you not into it?
No, I'm into it. I mean, my favorite memory was going to be that 2006 All-Star game, just seeing all the Sox players where you just felt fuck yeah, we rule the MLB. I mean,
yeah, finally.
They're fuck yes. How many fucking guys from your team are in the All-Star game?
Not many. But now that's the Braves, the Astros, the Phillies, the flipping Guardians, oh my goodness, if I have to see another, I feel like I'm going to watch a Guardians game on Tuesday with Jose Ramirez and oh man. So
worst All-Star memory 2016 when Chris Sale got the start and Chris Bryant took him deep in the first inning in San Diego.
Oh my, I remember watching it at my friend's house and he's like, I'll bet you dinner. I'm like, okay. I'm like, watch, he'll strike out and he hits a home run. I'm like, well, looks like we're going to dinner. I had to go buy dinner for that night. I'm like, you suck. Such a bad memory. So I do want to ask real quick about the home run derby since we're talking about it. The last thing we'll say before I get to the chat, and I know you got to go, Justin, so I won't make you stay for the chat. I want to know who you have winning the home run derby. So I'm going to name the participants, and then you guys let me know whoever you think. Or do you guys know who all the participants are?
I got to look it up, but it'll be easier for me to look it up and just see rather than have you tell me. So
yeah. So if you want to look it up, Deech, do you know who they are?
And they don't do the bracket anymore, right? I'm taking these guys. This is a straight up deal.
I think they do still do the bracket. I just don't think the bracket is out because this is from yesterday that they made it official. I don't think the bracket comes out till Sunday or Monday because I know they've done it the last few years because I usually do a preview show on it, but we haven't had the SouthSide boys since I did it before the SouthSide boys.
I did see something that it was cool that they added Bobby Wood Jr. and Gunnar Henderson, but who was it?
But the problem with that is they don't hit home runs. That's my one thing.
Gunnar does.
Gunner does, yeah. I mean,
Bobby Witt not as much.
They're the new face of like the younger generation of baseball.
That's true.
But they have fucking Marcelo Zuna in it. It was like they couldn't find anyone else. Where I forgot who I was watching earlier. It was on one of the podcasts, and they were like, the amount of tweets that are going to just come out when he hits a home run, like, oh, that's not the thing he's hit the hardest ever in his life because he like beat the shit out of his wife and got like by the
what
cop.
the fuck? People are so savage, man. Like, I just don't understand.
I mean, people hate Clevenger, but like he is like a total piece of shit. And like,
oh my goodness, man.
No one else wanted to be in it. I mean, that's pretty much
yeah.
it.
That's it. I'll go with Gunner, but the Ozuna shit's terrible.
It's just one of those. I don't know. So you said who are you gonna take?
Stupid.
Wait, what was the last thing you said?
I said it's just the Ozuna thing's terrible. I'll take Gunnar Henderson though if I'm gun to my head and picking from the field.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. No, I mean Marcelo Ozuna, man. I remember when he was like that. I remember when I wanted the Sox to get him at one point. I forgot when it was, but I was like, I want the Sox to get this guy in free agency or something. And I can't believe you just really don't know about these guys, man. And it's just crazy. Like, even though like Wander Franco or Wander Franco, there we go. Can't speak. But yeah, I don't know. So Deech, who you got in the home run derby?
Well, I named 3 of them. Who's the remaining guys I missed?
It's Alonso, Alec Baum, Adolis Garcia, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr., Jose Ramirez, Marcelo Zuna, and Teoscar Hernandez.
I'll take Bobby Witt Jr. just because I don't really like most of the. Yeah.
You don't want to take our homie from Cleveland, the Guardians' own Jose Ramirez? I was waiting for Josh Naylor's ass to be in this. I was going to go throw a baseball bat at his head.
I think he'd be better at it than Ramirez is.
Huh?
I think he'd be more fit for the home run derby than Ramirez, honestly.
I mean, he very well. I don't know. So I'm going to take Teoscar Hernandez, though, just to throw it out there. I don't know. I just wanted to ask you guys about the All-Star game and all that good stuff since it is coming up. But that is all we got here for you today. So, Justin, if you want to go now, we're just going to go through the chat and all of that. But we'll see you in a few weeks. Enjoy softball, and thank you for coming and hanging out again as usual and talking about this baseball team that we sadly have to root for.
Adios, boys. Happy All-Star break. Enjoy your week off from the White Sox.
I will see you in a few weeks. Talk soon, Justin.
Sounds good, guys. Peace.
Deuces. So, Deech, it's now that time. Let's go through the chat, and then we're going to say goodbye for the day. You got anything else you want to talk about, or did I cover it all?
If Yohan Moncada does come back, I would hope. I don't think Lennon Sosa is as much of a second baseman as a third baseman. I would keep playing him at third and be like, you know what, Yohan, you go play second base because you're not part of the future at this point. So that's about it. There's not much to add about this team. They better not trade Crochet and Robert at the deadline. I mean, maybe one of them, but both will set me off.
Well, I will tell you this, and I want you to be prepared for this. If you're at work, whatever you are, if that does happen, I'm going to do an emergency podcast just by myself or whatever. So I will bring you in either way and just talk about it, like even if they don't trade them, just so you're kind of prepared, just so have like a 20 minutes that day or whatever. But if something does happen, we'll obviously talk about it and give us our thoughts, and we'll go over it all. But yeah, let's hope it does not happen because Robert is the last jersey I have, bro. If they trade him, I have no more jerseys, and I will never buy another jersey in my I finally found somebody to buy my Tim Anderson baseball bat. I'm like, bro, I'm like, I'm gonna give you like a signed baseball too. I'm like, thank you. I'm like, just get away from me. So let's get to the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying, and let's see what we got. We got Eric in the house. What's up, Eric? There's no to say. So, okay, so hypothetically, Eric is asking, if they traded Crochet to the Astros, who would you want from the Astros? Hypothetically.
Astros don't have enough unless they're going to trade off their major league roster. So, I think it's so unrealistic. I mean, you could maybe get Fedde, but like, it's hard to even entertain that. I don't know the Astros system enough, but I know it's not that good, so.
It would be interesting, though, to see. And again, you don't know what's going to happen. Again, last year, I didn't think Jake Berger was going to be traded. That's why I asked you, because, I mean, we could see Vaughn. We could see Benny. I mean, we could see anybody. I mean, I don't know, man. Benny seems to be hitting the ball better down lower in the lineup, but I don't know, man. It is what it is. We got our guy in the house. What's up, man? Thank you for coming and hanging out. Appreciate you. He want Cags or Griffin? Is that from the Orioles?
No, those are the two. The Griffin's the prep or high school guy, and then Cags, I believe.
Oh, he's talking about the draft. Okay.
Yeah.
So that shit. Again, I just don't know nothing about the draft. Maybe that's on me. Maybe I should know more. But like, I try to keep up with everything, bro. I can't keep up with it all. My head hurts. Thorpe's command is good, could be better, but you know what? He's a rookie, and he's looked a lot. He's looked like he's confident. He looks like he's there. He's going out there. He's doing it, and nobody's gonna let like it. Just he looks very comfortable, and it's weird to see that from a rookie pitcher because we really don't see that too often. Usually, these rookies come in, they struggle, they come in for like a double header day, and then they go back to the minors. So it's really interesting to see these guys now, throughout the years, be able to go out and just it's just a crazy different generation, bro. I don't know. I still think about it like I'm like,
he's still limiting walks. I mean, to have as low a pitch counts as he has going out into like
that was crazy yesterday, bro. Fetty had 60 in the 7th, and he had like 40 in the 5th. I was like, oh my god. I was like, that's insane. And then you said it, and then they showed the pitch count. I'm like, that's crazy that the man like. And I don't know, those fast innings, man. That second, I looked at the clock one time yesterday, and it was like 9:30. And I'm like, it's not midnight. I'm like, how did I watch 2 baseball games? I've done a podcast. I worked out. I'm like, how did I do all this in one day? And it's only 9 o'clock. So the game went by really quick. And, obviously it didn't, whatever. But as long as these guys are going out there and doing good, that's all I care about because we expect it from the bullpen. I expect to lose after the 8th inning, but if they win, it is what it is. But, I mean, what are you really expecting when your team's 27 and 66 or whatever the fuck it is? And how many more months till football? I know you don't watch football, bro, but like, yeah. So, trade Pedro. If only we could try. I would rather have Deech as the manager. Shit. You know what? Give me the one girl on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the hell her name, or not whatever the hell her name is. Whatever it is on social media is that Bree girl. She big Cubs fan, Red Sox fan, but shit, she knows more about the Sox than his ass and half the people I know. So, I don't know. Just give it to somebody else. Give Deech, Justin. Shoot, give it to my little sister. I'm sure my little sister could do better than Pedro. Yeah, I remember when we didn't want to trade nobody, but now we want to trade everybody. It's crossplay. We got some NFL college talk.
Eric's Astros are going to trade for Andrew Vaughn.
Who?
Eric's Astros are going to trade for Andrew Vaughn. That'll be their big acquisition from the Sox. They ain't getting Crochet.
They're going to take the other first baseman to see if this first baseman works instead of the other first baseman.
A report today that they've reached out to the Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Mets, and I think one other team.
Wait, they're serious. You know who I think could go? Who might actually be good on the Astros and might actually help them? First baseman Gavin Sheets.
Sheets' bat's really cooled off though.
I know it has, but like I think being where like that because isn't there foul pole or isn't their fence on the left side a lot smaller?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't see a team giving up as much for him.
And I don't think they would give up a lot, but I just can see the Astros definitely going after somebody like that to make them be like, oh, well, we got a first baseman, but it's not like I think that would be so funny. Eric, I'm sorry, bro, but I would have to laugh at you. But one guy that could be traded and one guy I was surprised that you didn't mention because we did just talk to play them is Jazz Chisenhall. Jazz could be traded, and it's crazy to think after everything that Jazz was and was supposed to be, the superstar, the transform this team. But how many times have we seen this with the with the Marlins where they say they're going to transform things and then they never do? So I don't think the Astros. Yeah, I don't know. If Jazz were to go to somewhere, where do you think Jazz would go?
There was a report that 2 teams were interested in him. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to maybe the Phillies. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see a team like that, like the Phillies, maybe like the Brewers, maybe,
the Tigers may just say fuck it, cash in more prospects.
I mean, you can never have too many. Give me them prospects, bro. Give me them prospects. Let's see. Listen, Eric, you want to give me a Jose Altuve? I'll give you Eric Fetty. The ESPYs are on tonight.
I don't want either of those guys.
Said I don't want either one of. You would, so you would not, you wouldn't trade for Jose Altuve now? Do you think he's past his prime?
I don't want him. I mean, there'd be no point. By the time you actually start contending like legitimately is probably at least a year or two away. So I mean, he's old by that point. There's no point. And they're paying him a fuck ton. They just extended him.
That's right. They did just extend him. I mean, I don't know, man. I just want to, like, I'm not like even like Jose. I just want to have some guy like that, like a Bryce Harper, a fucking, like a guy that we can go to games and just be like, we're going to watch like this guy play. Like, I don't know, man. I'm coming back to Chicago next week, and then I'm coming back in August for my fantasy football draft, and I've really been debating to go to another game, especially if they do something at the trade deadline or whatever, and if they do start playing better. But, like, I just want to go to a game one year and just have that guy be in the middle of the lineup, and he comes up and he hits a 3-run home run. Like, and that's why when Robert does it, going back to Robert, like, when Robert did it yesterday, it's like he just makes it look so easy, and he's the guy that, like, when we go, it's just like, I want to see Robert at bat. He could do something special, and it's just really going to piss me off if they trade him. So we'll have to see. But yes, they are looking for a replacement for Jose Abreu. Yes, they are. So we'll have to see what happens. We obviously still have 2 weeks until the trade deadline. Actually, 2 weeks from tomorrow, or yesterday, I should say. From yesterday will be the trade deadline. I will be live here that Wednesday for the trade special, as if anything crazy happens, we'll get Deech and Justin in here if the White Sox get traded and everything else like that. But Deech, I think that's all we got here for them today. So any last thoughts or any final words you want to say about this baseball team in the week that coming up and the week that was?
I mean, don't lose 2 games, or don't get swept by Pittsburgh this weekend. I'm going to 2 of the games, so no desire to go watch more else.
Please win 2 out of 3. Let's get to 29 wins before. Oh man, like, bro, what? Like, did they just come out of my mouth? 29 wins, bro. If they win 2 out of 3, that's what bro. What? Like, it's just like, like we talk about it being bad, but like you can't tell me that this can't be worse. Like, this has got to be the fucking this has got to be the worst. I don't know. Like, the only other thing I could think of is losing 100 games and when not winning any in a row. I don't know, but I keep telling myself if we can get through this, then hopefully it's brighter days ahead, because it's just not fun to be a baseball White Sox fan right now. So that's all we got here for you, though, for the Southside boys, guys. I want to say thank you to Justin. Thank you to Deech, as always, coming and hanging out here with me. As I said, guys, we'll not be here next Thursday. We will be, and I will be traveling on Thursday back to Chicago, as I will be going to see my sister, engagement party, all of that. So we will not be here. I will be live for Friday Night SmackDown, and the schedule will come out next week. But Southside Boys will be back on the 25th, 1 week and 6 days away from the trade deadline. So we'll talk about more. Maybe the White Sox will win 14 in a row. Who knows? Even then, it wouldn't even matter. Bro, just like imagine, though. No, nothing. No, never mind. Anyway, so, guys, thank you for coming and hanging out. Let's give away today's MVP. Let's give it to Eric for asking some good questions, even though some of them didn't. And it won't make sense to trade some of those guys. Eric, I always appreciate you coming in here for the Southside Boys and all the episodes. So, guys, go follow all the social medias. Go follow the Main Event Network and OTM, as they are on their way to 401K subscribers. So go make sure you go do that. Go and follow them. But go follow the Southside Boys, all that good stuff. Go get your merchandise. Go become a member. Leave a super chat, all that good stuff. Go hit that like button. Subscribe on the road to 3K, guys. And lastly, turn that notification button on. Guys, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. And I'll see y'all back here on Tino's Time tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown.